On this episode, we're diving into one of the most vibrant, creative, and delicious events at Walt Disney World, EPCOT's International Festival of the Arts. Today's January 21st, 2025, and this is episode 739 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys! Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, in addition to live streams from the parks and our weekly live show, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Want to get a free Disney e-gift card up to $250? Book a qualifying Walt Disney World or Disneyland room or package through our preferred travel partner, MEI Travel, and get a Disney e-gift card valued up to $250. This offer is valid for bookings made between January 2nd and February 28th, 2025 for travel check-in dates through August 31st, 2025. Certain restrictions apply. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
All right, guys, here it is. Our review on Festival of the Arts.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I love Festival of the Arts. Absolutely love it. I think it's my favorite. I don't know if it's your overall favorite or if this year changed your mind or anything, because there are some kind of new things, or I'd say we checked out a little bit more.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Still think Flower and Garden is my favorite.
Flower and Garden's your favorite? I'm excited for Flower and Garden
I am.
this year. I really am. We did all of Friday opening day. Pretty much, from 11 to close. They opened those booths at 11, and we did Saturday, another several hours. We tried a few more items. We knocked out so much stuff. We saw so much stuff. So we're going to go everything.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about everything.
Yes.
Threw together some quick notes, but we're really going to kind of just talk about the weekend, and this will break up into 2 episodes because we also did some dining.
We did.
At some other places. We also stayed at a new to us hotel and resort.
We did.
And we'll talk about all that stuff on the next episode. This is going to be strictly Festival of the Arts.
Yes.
When is Festival of the Arts this year? Kicked off January 17th, but how long do people have to enjoy it?
You have until February 24th, which is not very long, but I know some people are waiting for this because they are going, and I'm so excited for y'all.
Yeah.
It only runs till then. But
I know. It's so short.
It kind of is, but, it is what it is.
We said this before. I think you could take Flower and Garden, even if you only took it down 2 weeks less and added 2 more weeks to this. I hope that this continues to grow. It has started in 2017. It used to only be on the weekends, and it was kind of to bridge that gap during the colder months or the less busy months in Florida.
Well, it's colder, that's for sure.
It is. We're actually having winter.
We really are.
For Florida.
We really are.
It's consistent. It's been steady. So that part's interesting. But it was weekends only. And now it has, developed. And it took a couple weeks for them to throw together the first one. And now it has developed into a full-blown festival, even though it is very short. What I do love about this and International Festival of the Holidays, even though I don't think they're long enough, you wouldn't know it by what's offered. You know what I mean? It's not like they're doing and putting just as much in, except for the number of food booths. They're putting just as much into as they do Flower and Garden and Food and Wine. With the entertainment, they still do the scavenger hunts. With the merch. So even though this is short, they give it their all.
Yes, they do.
And they're doing a wonderful job.
Yes, they do.
Let's just start going through all of the different offerings here. We didn't get to it this past weekend, but we'll try and do a couple this.
But we
this
passed
coming
it
trip,
a couple
right?
of times, and it was super cute.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a paint by numbers mural, which runs 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, and it's this big giant mural. And you stand in this line, and a nice cast member will give you a little paint. And this year, there was like numbers on the ground where you would go to, which was super cool. I feel like it's a little more done well. They've learned
super well organized.
Yeah,
they're
learned
actually
over the years.
using their. It's the walkway that will take you from like Imagination Pavilion around to where Swirling Showcase is. And starting, to go right towards Canada. And it's right there. And they're actually using one of the food booths from like Food and Wine as the area where you can go get your paint, get your brushes. It's organized very well with the queue. And then like Rhonda said, there's now these numbered spots so they can say, all right, you're going to go stand on number 4 and here's your color. And you're going to paint.
I think 5.
Yeah, 5 squares or whatever, right?
Yep. And it's just super cool. And then close by there, it shows what the mural will look like when it's done. And it was super cool because the first day we went, I guess a lot was done, but not enough to see like what it would kind of turn out to be. And then the second day we went, I was like, oh, wow. Like it was starting to come together, and it's super cool because, they'll finish that and then they'll move on to another one. And I believe there was 3 or 4.
Yeah, I saw 3 or 4. When you do paint your portion, they will give you a bookmark at the end that shows what that painting is.
Yep.
I mean, we've gone before where one of these has been finished in a day.
Yes, we have.
So it was not very busy opening day.
Not opening day.
Yeah. Was not. Saturday was crazy
very busy.
So I would have been interesting because we left the parks, that evening, early evening, kind of late afternoon on Saturday. I would be interested to see what it looked like at because I don't think we even stayed till 5 to see what it was closing down at 5 that night and see exactly what it looked like.
I would have too, but it was a lot more done.
Yes, it was.
So
it was getting a lot there. But it's a lot of fun. It's not going to take a lot of your time.
No.
You get a nice little keepsake bookmark. We've done it every year, and if we don't get to it this coming Thursday that we go back for a little bit, we will be there Valentine's weekend while this is still going on, and we will make sure we get over and do it.
Super fun for the
really
kids,
do love
too.
It. Yeah. So something we did decide to do Saturday, so we were going to meet up with our friends Tay and Steph, who were in from out of town. They just come in the night before, and we're going to meet up with our good friend Steve, one of our favorite cast members, maybe our favorite. And so we had a couple hours, though, to knock out a few more food booths Saturday morning. But we also decided to do the scavenger hunt.
We did.
What is the Festival of the Arts scavenger hunt? Why don't you talk about it? Because we went ahead and devoted one Loop Around World showcase to just do it.
We did. So it's Figment's Brush with the Masters. This is $9.99 plus tax. You can get it at Creation Shop, Port of Entry, or World Traveler. And this is a scavenger hunt of Figment and all these paintings. And at the end, or you don't have to, you can do it right then, trade it in. And your prize this year is a stencil. We actually finished it and forgot to trade it in. But we're going. All we have to do is, it's in the bag. It's done. All we have to do is trade it in. But we went searching through every, not every, but most of the
there's not one in
countries.
Mexico. Yeah, there's not one in Mexico. You have, I believe it's 10 total that it ends up being. And we weren't going to do it at first because I love these scavenger hunts, and they're amazing to do just to do. They don't have to have a prize.
Yeah.
But when you have offered prizes for these scavenger hunts in the past that have been pretty good sometimes. We used to get some pretty dang good prizes like the bowls, that we've gotten most recently, those miniature ones that I use for ice cream a lot of times that we got from, I think 2 years ago, Food and Wine. I can look at a Festival of the Arts in front of us. It was a little paint can, and it had a Figment puzzle in it. We've seen a lot of really good stuff, and they're really going away from anything good. I mean, these are 3 stencils.
Well, but think of maybe a child.
I know, but they're just, I don't know. I wish it was better, but they're worth doing. There is a pass holder discount, so we paid like $8.50 maybe, $8.41 I think it was, and we devoted about 45 minutes, is what it took us to go find it in each pavilion, And now some of them we had some ideas from the past. Some of them are moved around a little bit. A lot of them are in some of the same places, though.
Some of them, yes.
I had said before, I think when we were doing that whole festival overview of all 4 of them, that I thought this was one of the most difficult ones. Now, we were specifically doing it, and we had a little bit of insight from the past where they were. This was about as easy as it could be. Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it is pretty easy. If all you're doing is accomplishing this, you can do it in 45 minutes easy.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the time it takes you to walk into each pavilion around World Showcase.
I
But if
agree.
you make it part of your day, as you get to a pavilion, you're eating the food from the booth, you're doing some shopping, you're grabbing whatever. It's a really good time to do it. So I still enjoy it. And I'm glad that we went ahead and did one. We just got to make sure we trade that sucker in.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the art.
Yeah.
There's art everywhere.
There's art everywhere. With artists there, you can purchase, you can stand in a line and get them to sign it.
Yeah, there's several that'll come through. Like that Scooter, I don't remember his last name. He does all that retro art was there. Trevor Carlton was there because he was also performing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Trevor Carlton had his art, and he was there to sign. I know like Greg McCullough's coming. There's a lot of really well-known Disney artists that will be there at some point so you can get it signed. I know Chuck and Amy get some of their favorites signed every year.
Yeah.
I think theirs is Greg McCullough that they love.
And then it's super cool because, some of it's very expensive, but they have prints.
Yes.
Which is super nice because... And you can get those and then get those signed.
Oh, of course.
So it's great.
Yeah.
And there's some good art out there.
There's some amazing art, and it's everywhere from full-blown $5,000 canvases, that are like 5 feet by 5 feet to, I mean, there's everything there. There's Thomas Kincaid, lots of paintings.
A Stitch
and
for
original,
only
like,
$1,900.
$1,900, you could get a Stitch by Trevor Carlton that he actually painted on stage.
Yep.
We did not get it.
No, we did not.
But we'll tell him that story because that was funny. We were like, so Trevor Carlton, we'll get a little ahead, but they do these. We'll get to it in a minute, but anybody who has had complaints about Communicore Hall and Communicore Plaza in the past festivals, either your complaint is over or you're not able to be pleased. What they've now done, I think, with the Plaza and with the Hall, and we'll talk about the Hall in a few, we can go on to the Plaza, is exactly what it was built for.
Yeah.
So we have this big open plaza, of course. On the side opposite of where Communicore Hall is lined with art booths. You've got the Trevor Carlton up front. There's another 4 or 5 artists in the back behind it. There is still the stage on the side with the Encanto celebration going on.
Yes.
But on the opposite side is where they've built that stage, like where they had the joyful celebration for the holiday festival. And that's where they're doing music and artists kind of in between the Encanto celebration. So like we saw Trevor Carlton, who we first saw 8 years ago, I think back when you had the Fountain of Nations and they had a stage, on the other side of Spaceship Earth from that. And we saw him and he gets up there and he paints an entire thing in front of you. There's music playing. Like 21 Pilots was one time Imagine Dragons. He's got this whole soundtrack and it's rock meets live art, really. And you watch him paint this entire thing right in front of you. So he had done that with a Stitch. Right. So he had done that with a Stitch. We saw him do Tinkerbell. So we were just wondering because there's prices on most everything. We were wondering what the Stitch one was.
And I didn't see his price on it and I was curious because there was a 4 picture, like, how would you call that?
Almost like a film strip looking. 4 images. It's a vertical.
Right.
Maybe it was
size,
8 inches by 24 inches tall or something. 8 inches wide by 24 tall.
So this was only $150.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. There was another one, and I'm trying to remember between a good 9 by 5. Is that 5 by?
Yeah, probably 8 by 10.
8 by 10. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, I don't know. You're better at this. That I think was around 323 something. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, what's this big one like? And other ones, after I found out the price, was like $5,000 in his booth.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I did ask, and it was funny because they took like 3 or 4 people, and I'm like, I'm not that interested. Please, I just want to know.
It's one of those you just hope you see the person standing by and you go, how much is this? And they go, $1,900. And you go, okay, cool. And you just walk away. But it was like, I'm not sure. Let me ask someone.
Yep.
And then that person asked someone and that person wasn't sure.
I'm like, oh,
so
God.
they went over to the booth and got someone. Yeah. So I walked away.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this turned out more than like we're not buying it. But
only, I hate to say it, only $1,900 was really not bad.
Yeah. If I had $1,900 to spend on art, I would have spent it in that exact moment and bought that.
Probably, yeah.
And there's a lot of people doing that. I mean, you will see people walking by with, the giant packed boxes with a handle that are filled with expensive framed artwork.
We saw a lot
Tons
of that.
And all these, like Rana said, most every artist has smaller 4x6 prints, but they also have 8x10 prints that are already matted, beautifully matted. A lot of them with like special designs. We've got one behind us.
Yep.
Those now are running pretty common $65 for those, which is still a wonderful price. They've gone up significantly over the past couple years, but everything has.
And always ask if you can do a pass holder discount if you're pass holder.
Some of them will.
Some of them will.
Not all of them. Some of them will. And I think a lot of times sometimes it'll come down, I think, to like they won't take it off the originals, but you can sometimes get it on prints or whatever. We did not purchase anything this year yet. I don't know if we will. There was nothing that just really like stood out to us, because now we're going to try and purchase future things with a plan, because we have a closet full of art that we still need to frame and have a plan for. We need to pull
that out and and go from there. But
so we'll see. But it is, I'm telling you, you would be hard pressed to go here and not find something you love. I'm not saying you're going to buy something. I guarantee you're going to find Disney art that you love.
Oh, 100%.
There was one that was amazing that I think Chuck and Amy should get inside of the Communicore Hall, of that one with the bride from Haunted Mansion, but her getting ready on her wedding day.
Yeah.
And behind her, kind of like, I guess, doing her tale of the wedding dress, was one of the servants who, of course, is dressed head to toe the way that you see the servants or cast members at Haunted Mansion. It was super cool. I had never seen a take on the bride like that.
Yeah.
Like, here she is just getting ready for her wedding day.
It was.
So
and
that
then
part was awesome.
Picture of the cat woman was in the background of that. I mean, there's just so much, like, it's super cool.
And a lot of these, they have so much little details and Easter eggs. There's just some amazing art there. Additional art is the chalk art.
Yes.
Right? How's that? What is the chalk art, or where is it?
Oh, that is the main drag of going down towards the countries.
It's that walkway straight from Spaceship Earth into the port of entry.
I'm like, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So when you're headed that way, it will be on your right. There is a small little section on your left.
Yeah. That's for kids.
Will be
to
for
just
kids.
Do their own chalk.
It's super cute.
Nice.
It's great. Caitlin, I could probably sit there and let her do this amazing like drawing.
We'd buy a ticket to EPCOT and be like, all right, you sit here. We're going to go around the world. We're going to eat. We're going to do some things. When we get back, I would like to see a full piece of art.
But on the right, it's really neat. They do these little pictures, and there's quite a few of them. I'd guess around maybe 12 or something. And they're really, really cool. And then there's an artist that will do a giant full piece that then you can take your picture with.
Yeah. It's the 3D art. It's like when you look at it from the side, it just looks like all out of proportion. People have probably seen these, but when you stand in the place they want you to stand, it looks 3D almost.
Yep.
And this was Hulk and like the Avengers, and kind of, I guess it was almost like the part of the attack on New York from the Avengers. So those things are really cool. And then, what's so crazy about these is, it's not like they draw them on day one and then they're there for the whole festival.
No.
Weather will take its toll. We had a kind of, misty night overnight Friday to Saturday, and we saw that guy out there the next day touching up his entire thing,
because it was not pretty. Like, it was sad. I was sad because I was like, oh my goodness, like, that's sad, because he spent an entire
we were
day. There. Well, we were there and at opening, and he was starting before 11 o'clock booths.
Yep.
So he was there about 9:30ish.
Probably he was probably there before.
He
that,
probably was. I'm trying to remember, because he was working on it.
Yep.
I think I remember looking at my watch, because we passed back by, and it was around, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably 2 something that he was done with it.
Yeah, it could have been somewhere around there. And
Which
then
I'm
the
like,
next day he's touching
9,
it up.
10, 11, 12, 1, 2. I mean, that's 5 hours of straight working on that. And then people take pictures. And then, unfortunately, it was sad. That's what I mean. He spent 5 hours working on this. And then the next morning, it was all dull and sad.
And he was there working on
And
it
then he
again.
was,
And I was talking because we met up for a while and spent a little bit of time with Scott and Michelle from the Main Street Mouse and Greg from Fantasyland News and, of course, John Self. But like I was saying to Scott as we were walking past it, like, man, I mean, that thing washes out overnight. Like, you put all this time into it. I don't know if we have a chalk artist. We know we have somebody in aviation and weather and all these things. If we have somebody chalk, I'm wondering if that's part of the reason that you love that medium, because it isn't timeless. You know, you paint a painting, and in theory, it's around forever. You do chalk art, it's a limited time, but maybe that's part of the love of that art. You know? So I don't know but that could be it. It's like, okay, it washed away. I expected that. Let's do a new one. But you can go through there as many times as you want, and you're going to see some different things. So I love that part.
Yes.
Also, this year, and Greg tipped us off to this, but it is on Disney's website. I've never noticed it. And we've seen characters throughout some of the pavilions, like you see from Luca, right?
In Italy.
You see in Italy, and we've seen Pascal and stuff around before in
that
Germany.
was Germany.
But they actually have this chock full of character where every pavilion has a character in it. And there are 1 to 3 of them.
Okay.
And then Greg said which one, there was a lot more. I don't think it was Pascal.
Well, there's 3
Germany.
of Pascal.
Yeah. But he said there was one that had more. But anyway, they're throughout. So, for example, you go through Morocco, and there's going to be some abus in chalk up on the walls in different areas. It is not a formal scavenger hunt. It is not a let me purchase $9.99 map and mark them off and get a prize. It's just kind of a fun. Everybody look for these characters as you go in, get some photos. So I thought that was really cool. All right, let's talk about some of the artful photo ops. We did get 2 pictures of you with Scream and the Mona Lisa, right? But
I just started to say, that's super. The artful photo ops are super cute. I love how they're there, and some will have photo pass people, and then some it's just take your own, which is cool, you know, and they're all around and they're big because you go into the art. It's super cool.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
And I can't remember all the pieces of art, but there's a bunch around, like in America.
I just started to
you can
say
get the
America.
one where the George Washington, you know, going across the river, the Delaware River and all, and you can basically get in it and you're posing as the George Washington. And it's cool because they're multi-layered. So the front is basically a wall with an opening and a frame around it. The back is the backing of whatever the art piece is, and then you become the art in the middle. And they're really, really cool.
They really are.
If you truly want to be part of the art and create the art, they do the Animation Academy,
yes,
right?
they do.
And I wouldn't mind trying this one of the next 2 visits that we go before this is over, because it's been a while since we've done one.
Yes.
We've done them in the past.
Yes, we have. I am not good at it. I feel like Jeremy and Kaylin are better at it because they do have some artisticness to them. I just have my hair to do, other people's hair to do. I'm seriously, when it comes to like pen to paper, like whatever.
It's hard.
I can't. Anyways, this is at the American Gardens Theater, and this is at 12:30 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. daily. And you have a Disney artist that will show you how to draw a character.
Yep.
When we were walking by, it was Orange Bird. And it was super funny because Jeremy was like, oh, I wonder who this will be. And it started with a circle. And he even said, probably Orange Bird. But then, and it was, it happened to be Orange Bird. But the funniest part was, is once he started thinking about it, I think he thought of Orange Bird because it's round. And then he goes, wait a minute. I think everything, like, I mean, Mickey.
Yeah, it would start that
Spike,
way. Anything they're doing.
Orange Bird.
Figment's probably going to start somewhere with a circle. But it's cool because he'll show you like the lines that they draw, you know, the guidelines and all, and you do in a lighter pencil, and then you go and that helps you. And it's amazing because when you really think about it, like, okay, I'm looking at a picture, just say. Really, in theory, it's tracing. To go from that in my brain to my hand should be tracing. I should easily be able to draw the Mickey that I'm looking at. I see it all I have to do is do the same thing on paper. It doesn't work that way. Wherever the disconnect is between non-artistic people, between visual and hand, your brain just gets right in the middle, and it's like, nah, you're not making a straight line. Like how
but
hard
Kaylin
it is.
Can do that.
Yes, because she's artistic. But this gets you as close as possible because of the way they're breaking it down. It's not simply draw a circle, put 2 eyes on it and a nose. It's
right.
Draw a circle. Now we're going to do a curved guideline halfway through the circle lighter, because on top of that line is where each of the eyes is going to sit. We're also going to do one down the mid. Like, it's just really cool.
It is.
And even if you stink at drawing, you still come out with something
you do.
That is semi-artistic.
Yes.
And regardless, could be, especially if it's your kids, it's worthy of framing because you have a moment, you have a souvenir to bring home.
Yeah.
So it is a really cool experience. It's right there in American Gardens Theater all day long. It happens between 12:30. Well, not all day long, I should say. 12:30 and 1:30 because then they got ready for the Broadway stars.
Correct.
Visual art performances that we talked about, like with Trevor Carlton. There's some other ones that will go on stage. They will paint right in front of you, about 30 minutes long. And then they interject those and the Encanto celebration with music. Mm-hmm. We saw, it wasn't Nicholas Sparks, but it was like, I think it was Nick Sparks, not like the author Nicholas Sparks, but I think his name was Nick Sparks, I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I know his last name was Sparks.
Hearing that, and I was like what?
But like he gets out there and he's playing, it's classic flamingo Spanish inspired acoustic guitar music. Mm-hmm. And
that was
he
interesting.
Is super good and talented.
Yeah.
And so they have stuff like that going on, which is just wonderful. Now, where they are absolutely killing it, because that all is happening out in Communicore Plaza right there. Mm-hmm. Inside Communicore Hall.
Yes.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yes, they did.
What do we have?
We have Once Upon a Stage. This is 30 years of Disney on Broadway. And I mean, I just got chills like saying that because you cannot eat inside.
No, you cannot. And if you have a child with you that is trying to eat, or an adult with you that is trying to eat, they cannot. We were walking in the second time because I wanted to see it, and we got the Figment popcorn bucket, the wonderful light bulb. Not the hot air balloon. Mm-hmm. It does look a little like a hot air balloon. Okay. So we got that and it had the popcorn in it. And I was trying some and just not thinking, as soon as we're walking in, I took a huge handful out. And the cast member, very nice, was like, I'm sorry, you can't eat or drink in here. So, of course, the way I think, I turned around. I was about to just shove the entire handful in my mouth. And he was like, you could put it back in your popcorn bucket. And I was like, oh, that'd probably be a better idea. But then what's great is Saturday we went to go in a third time, because every time we went into, we ran into someone and I just didn't get to look at it all.
Right.
So we went in the third time, and as we're walking in, there's a woman in front of us who has a child, an infant basically, old enough to eat goldfish off of a tray in your stroller. And the cast member was like, excuse me, you're going to either have to like put those away or make sure your child doesn't eat them.
Yep.
So that mom felt very much like I'm sure you did the day before with me in there. But
yeah, I'll bet.
But what do we have inside here? 'Cause it is stunning.
It really is. And the reason it gave me chills because I've actually seen here in Jacksonville, I guess you call it on Broadway, Lion King.
Off-Broadway.
Or off-Broadway, Lion King. And because I've not gone to New York and seen it. But it is freaking incredible. Yeah. And to see the stuff there, I was like, oh my God, I've seen that on stage. And it was just really, really cool. And everything in there from Aladdin to Frozen to Hercules, I believe.
Yeah, Hercules, what are you seeing?
Mary Poppins. Oh, sorry. You're seeing a lot of stuff that is on stage. Your dresses, your Lion King, the puppets, I guess you called them.
Those would be, that'd be considered puppets. They're all wearable puppets because they have full actors.
It's so cool.
Yeah, all the props.
Yeah.
There's stage miniatures of what's the stage setups looked like for Frozen, for Mary Poppins, and the Newsies. Mm-hmm. All the costumes, really. Yep. And then there's a lot of story about them.
Yes, there
is.
And
there's, TV displays going through them. I mean, again, Little Mermaid, Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, Newsies, Mary Poppins, Lion King, Aladdin, as you mentioned. Like, I'm trying to think of what other ones were in there, but pretty much anything that has been on Disney Broadway
It's super cool.
was represented in some manner.
There's also a little photo op of a genie lamp.
Yep.
You can touch it. You can rub it. It's super cute, which is nice. There was a cast member there at one point taking your own photo, not with their... But then the last time, a couple times we were in there was not, and people were just taking their own photos. There's also a Lion King photo op, but there's not like really a prop or anything.
Right. But, and then there's still merchandise in here for Festival of the Arts.
Yeah.
But unlike the past, where it looked like you were walking into like a Kmart going out of business, which they always were. That's how they always looked.
Yeah.
It looked like merchandise was supposed to be there.
Yes.
It's nicely put on, the walls on either side, mixed in with some of the art, like where we saw that bride painting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, and then on the back end is filled with the lounge flies it actually feels a little bit like a festival center again.
Mm-hmm.
The food booth that has been in there and open, like the Macatizers back in Food and Wine, it was not open. It was all covered because they had this display, and it is a walkthrough that, I will go again when we go back. I'll walk through it again because it's amazing.
I love just looking at the costumes.
The costuming is unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, it really is. So
you walk past the it had the Jasmine and Aladdin's costumes. It said for Friend Like Me was what they were from.
Right.
Was that, I guess, that song or that portion of the show. And you walk past it, and as the lights above you kind of hit, I mean, it is like diamond encrusted. Like, it is beautiful. This stuff is just amazing.
Well, and then to not jump ahead too much, but the Broadway, they had the Broadway series, and just to we'll come back to that, but the girl who was on that night that we saw played Ariel a long time ago, and then she also played Anna, and she said that her dress was 12 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that was in there. Like, that dress was
you
in
could actually
there.
See it.
And it doesn't look 12 pounds, but it's gorgeous. And I just, it's just really, really cool.
Yeah. They're doing the Disney on Broadway concert series, which you're talking about.
Yes.
It was the only one we haven't done. You look at the Eat to the Beat, the Garden Rocks, the Candlelight Processional. This is their version of that. So this will take place in the American Gardens Theater. This is every single night. It is just like the other concert series in the Candlelight Processional at 5:30, 6:45, and 8. There are dining packages if you want to get one.
Yeah.
We did not need one necessary. We caught the 6:45 show that evening. And we showed up about 30 minutes maybe prior, not even to get in the standby, 15. And
15,
it was full.
Because it was walking through we were walking down to get in the standby, and we were walking so far that Jeremy was real close to being like, it's fine, we won't. But we got to the end, and we just was like, well, let's just see. We have to walk back this way anyways. So we were walking, and we got in, and we got a pretty decent seat that I was fine with.
Yeah, it was a great seat for this.
It really was.
Yeah, even funnier, I met this guy Kyle back in, I don't know, it's been a decade at least. Maybe it's longer since I had met him. I used to do work with him when I worked for Hardwood Hustle and Pure Sweat basketball and all. And I kept in touch with him. I most recently, in the past year, because I took on another podcast production role, he does some of the social media, so we keep in touch. But I hadn't seen him since, I figured 2015 maybe.
And I've never met him. I just have always heard of
you've never
Kyle.
met him, but I in communication with him most days as we're doing work stuff, and we're just friends and all. And so he had been looking, and I've been talking to him through text a lot this past week because he was looking at doing passes for his family, and they're going to look at the Pirate Pass. And he was having some issues, I didn't tell you this, with the credit card and getting it through Disney's site and call and whatever. So he said, we're going to drive over, we're going to buy them. And so I knew he was coming over to Epcot, and we were going to try and link up, but it was getting busy. We just were like, whatever. And then we sit down, we get our spot, and I turn left, and who comes down the row in a packed house but Kyle and his wife and 3 kids.
Yeah.
And I thought he had seen me and was like, oh, I see Jeremy, I'm going to walk down. He didn't know. We literally just happened to get in the exact same row. So that part was crazy. But we caught Patty Murrin from Frozen, who is currently playing Anna, and John Riddle from Frozen, who is playing Hans.
Yes.
And they do a collection of Disney on Broadway songs from all the different shows.
Yes, they do. And they are freaking incredible. Like, holy crap, their voices are amazing.
It really is.
And they actually, years ago, they've been on it for a very long time now. And years ago, they actually started out as Ariel and Eric.
Yeah.
And
Off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway.
Yeah, this was in, I think it was somewhere in the Midwest they had said they had done it. So this was an off-Broadway
super cool.
Yeah, of The Little Mermaid.
This is a live performance.
Mm-hmm.
This is where, people do make mistakes or, and unfortunately, her voice, poor thing, it hurt my heart for her. But, it happens.
It cracked that one time.
Did.
But everything else
was
flawless.
She was just amazing.
Yeah. And they'll kind of tell stories in between, and they especially had ones from working on either Frozen or, back a long time ago when they did The Little Mermaid. So they'll kind of give you a little insight. And it's just, we had never sat down to catch one. And I'm really glad we did. It's
Me
just,
too.
It's all, for the most part, songs you're going to know.
Yep.
And
Greatest
it's just
Showman
something
one.
really cool. Yeah.
A Million
Greatest
Dreams.
Showman, A Million
Woo.
Dreams was unbelievable.
That was good.
Like, it was just really, really good.
Yeah,
and what's even more amazing is now you do have a live band, kind of small orchestra off to the side, but it's these two up there.
Yeah.
Just belting their hearts out.
Yep.
And so it's very, very cool.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk merchandise and then we'll get on to food. What did you think of the merch this year? We didn't get any and I don't think we will.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It it's very figmenty.
In purple.
In purple.
Yeah, it's a lot of figment in purple. Which I don't have a problem with. I'm not big on purples. I don't wear a lot of purples.
The only thing like we miss is Festival of Arts was when they were printing those.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what we wanted. And
printing the what, Rhonda?
Sorry, printing the screen print on flannel.
Yeah.
And there was Minnie and Mickey. I saw somebody from that year wearing a Figment one. So there's different. I got villains
cool.
one year.
They screen pressed them right in front of you. I was wearing my Festival of the Arts with Mickey. It was just 2021. And one of the cast members was like, I remember that shirt. I was working merchandise at the time.
Yep. It was super cool.
Man, I wish they would bring this back. Like we would buy clothing every year.
Yes.
I guarantee I'd buy a flannel every year.
100%.
I wear mine all the time. And it's, when you look at the amount, of course, Flower and Garden, Food and Wine, they have ridiculous amounts of merch. They have every single thing you could think of.
Yep.
There isn't a large variety here, but it's one of those, if you're a Figment lover, you're going to be in luck. And there's certainly going to be stuff for everyone. They're just not really anything for us, I'd say, this year.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get on to the food. We're going to go through all the food booths, stuff that we've tried in the past, stuff we've tried this year. We did not finish our wonderful walk of color cuisine this trip. We will on the next one. And the redemption prize is a packaged Rice Krispie treat with the full icing on top and Figment.
Yep.
They sell these. We had a Grogu one time that we brought home. Like, you've seen these before. They're great Rice Krispie treats. They're covered in icing. Who wouldn't love it?
Yeah.
All right, we're just going to go through in alphabetical order the booths, and we'll talk about some of the new stuff we had, as well as a few of our things favorite from the past. Let's start with the artist table over in America. 2 new items this year, a favorite that has returned year after year, but we tried it for the first time. Let's talk about these items.
Yeah, so we actually there's 2 new ones. We got those, and then the hummingbird cake was not new, but we didn't have it before, so we got that. So all 3. So the first one is the deviled eggs trio, which is pimento cheese, a green goddess, and a BLT for $6.25. Sorry, a chicken pot pie with smoked cheddar, Monterey sauce, roasted vegetables, pickled mushrooms, wasabi peas, sherry chicken au jus served open-faced on a flaky pie crust for $6.75. And then, of course, your hummingbird cake, which is banana and pecan cake dipped in cream cheese icing with caramel sauce and warm pineapple compote for $5.
Where do you want to start?
Start with the deviled eggs.
Okay.
These are very good. I'm going to explain, though. These are boiled eggs, hard-boiled eggs that are cut in half, and then with the yolk and everything still in there, intact,
as it would be,
as a hard-boiled egg, and then they are piped pretty on top, the pimento cheese, the green goddess, and then the BLT. I personally liked them all. I think they were fantastic. It was a great hard-boiled egg. I love a green goddess salad. So that was really good to me. But I know you
I
didn't
don't
agree.
like traditional deviled eggs because they're going to contain mustard, usually
Correct.
within the yolk, and mayo often. Which again, I eat mayo. Okay, when I don't know it's mayo.
Okay.
Like we'll just say, like I have eaten a sandwich before that had a thin layer of mayo on it, and it fit well. But it's like, but I didn't know it was there. If I know it's there, it's just one of those things that throws me off. But I eat plenty of things that have mayo. I eat aioli, so. But to me, mayo doesn't have that overwhelming flavor, so you don't notice it. And if it's in a deviled egg, right?
Okay.
You notice mustard if it's in there, and I hate mustard.
Yeah.
You notice a lot of times that people put relish in their deviled eggs, right? Stuff
Right.
like that. So there's not a lot of deviled eggs that I do enjoy because of that fact.
Correct.
I didn't love the green goddess only because I'm not a big fan of that green goddess flavor. To me, it just tastes like somebody took like a chimichurri and a pesto and like anything you can make with an herb and oil. I just feel like they took all of them and just threw them in one.
Okay.
And it tastes fine. It just wasn't for me.
Right.
The pimento cheese one is a hard-boiled egg with delicious pimento cheese on top.
Okay.
I told Rhonda I would make these at home.
Yeah.
Like we're going to watch some football later. I kind of want some buffalo wings.
Ooh.
If we had a bunch of people coming over, we could still make some. We could go buy. They sell pre-boiled
Lacey would
hard-boiled
probably-
eggs.
Yeah, Lacey would
We could buy
probably
that
like
from
them.
Publix. We could buy a little thing of pimento cheese, probably already made at Publix.
Yeah.
Throw some of this on top. It will be something so different that people really haven't had.
Yeah.
I didn't take a bite of the BLT one, but it wasn't anything super special.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would have liked it.
Yeah, it was fine. I personally, again, I love a deviled egg. I mean, a hard-boiled egg. So I personally like that the least. I like the other two, the pimento cheese
Yeah.
and the green goddess, better in my opinion. But I also liked all of them.
Yeah.
So
Like, I would eat the whole, like if you got this again next weekend, I'd be like, do you mind if I eat the whole pimento cheese one? You eat the other two.
Correct.
And I would eat it.
Yep.
So look at that. Good
Yep.
job, Artist Table. So next, when they say chicken pot pie, the pot pie is in quotations.
Mm-hmm.
How did you describe this? Because I said it should have been at the deconstructed dish. booth,
Because
right?
it looks like a deconstructed
It
pot
is.
pie.
Yeah. It looks like a
Yes.
pizza.
Yes, it's super cute,
Flaky.
big.
Yes, it is very big.
Large.
It's the size of probably a 6 to 8 inch plate, maybe.
It's I mean, large for the portion. I mean, and
Large for $6.75 at a food festival.
Yes,
very
I
large
agree.
and shareable.
Yes.
It's a flaky crust.
Mm-hmm.
It's got shredded chicken on top. It has this like Mornay sauce that is like a gravy, along with that au jus. It's got some pickled mushrooms, which I didn't even really notice
They're so
on
good.
there. Roasted this thing is delicious.
Now there are some wasabi peas that they do put on as I watched towards the end. And we told Tay and Steph when we were headed to America because they wanted that.
And Steph
But
does not like
they
wasabi
did not
peas.
want the wasabi peas. And I said, I'm sure you can ask without them.
Yeah.
They did. They put no peas on.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. They always will ask too, is this a preference or is this a
Allergy, yeah.
thank you, allergy?
Yep.
And it's just no problem. So it was great.
This tastes like exactly like chicken pot pie. The only difference is the ratio of what I would call filling to crust is about even, whereas in a regular pot pie, you're going to get more of a filling to crust ratio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that. It was delicious. Now,
it was.
I don't love wasabi peas. I wouldn't choose to eat them. I've eaten them. I don't mind them. They were kind of neither here nor there. If they're gone, you're not going to miss them.
Right. If they're
If
there.
they're there, you could either just flick them off because you don't like them, or they packed the lightest wasabi flavor, and that's because there's so many other wonderful flavors going on.
agree.
So it actually fit. It didn't overpower.
And the crunchiness, I kind of liked it because everything else was kind of more softer.
Yeah. And a guy who loves contrast and
Right.
textures, I didn't care for the crunch, oddly.
Which was weird.
Yeah. But if I got this again, I would just personally say, I'll do without the wasabi peas. But if I forgot to do it that way, I'd just eat them and it would be fine.
Yeah.
So we have not had the hummingbird cake at homecoming.
No, we have not.
So we're going to talk about the hummingbird cake at the artist table.
Yes, we are.
What did you think? It was our first hummingbird cake.
So I will explain it as like, to me, a banana bread cake. I mean, a banana bread with icing on it.
Yeah.
The caramel sauce was little dots of caramel sauce. And then it was nice because I'm going to put in quotation marks, warm pineapple compote was not very warm, and it was off
not.
to the side, which I was very grateful for, because that banana and pecan cake was just fantastic.
Just phenomenal. It tastes like the holidays to me.
It was really, really good.
Oh my gosh, it was good.
I'm excited. I want to go to homecoming now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we do on this. We're staying at Disney Springs for the one night, and we're gonna do a little meetup at Paddlefish. We're probably gonna eat Salt and Straw, maybe, but maybe we skip Salt and Straw because we did have it this past trip. Maybe we skip Salt and Straw and we go get a hummingbird cake from homecoming because it was amazing. Let's move on to the Craftsman's Courtyard. In the past, they have again returned is the roasted bone marrow. It's got an onion marmalade, pickled mushrooms, petite lettuce for $10.75. If you like bone marrow, it's a great one. My only problem with bone marrow is it's just there's so little. Like you really once you scrape it all out of there and you get a little crusty, crostini or something. It's not a lot, but if you have never had it and you want to give it a try, you're not going to go sit down maybe at Yachtsman or something and have it. Get it here. Give it a shot. This is one everybody in your party gets a little flavor. You can try bone marrow for the first time.
And if you are on the dining plan, this is a very good use of your snack because it's $10.75.
Yeah. So like we said, I mean, when you really hit that $8 and up mark, always use your dining plan if you can.
Yep.
Right? Anything under, you might want to consider paying out of pocket. In the past, they've had the cast iron roasted PEI mussels. They have sauteed tomatoes, garlic, and fresh herbs for $8. I'm not a huge fan of mussels, but these are very good. Tay had them. He ate the whole bowl. He said he even thinks they hooked him up a little bit. He loves these to death. If you like mussels, you will really like these, and $8 is a great price. Now, new this year is, again, in a very artistic way, also I think could be a deconstructed dish almost, is the Beef Wellington-inspired Croissant Supreme. This has a cream spinach croissant pinwheel. That is topped with a mushroom gorgonzola ragu, mustard grilled flank steak, red wine sauce, and then pickled mustard seeds. This is new for $8.50. Pretty much, we'll tell you if something isn't snack plan eligible.
Right.
We'll talk about ordering it because I said we waited to eat it because we had a bunch of stuff. You were a little bit full. I said, let's take a break. We were walking past it. I said, I want to try this, but I really need you to possibly eat it in case it has too much mustard flavor and I don't want it. And you were like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. So we waited, but we did go back and get it, right?
And I did ask. And the beef Wellington is actually rubbed in mustard and...
The flank steak.
Yeah, sorry. The flank steak is... I was reading the beef Wellington because I'm thinking the meat part of it was rubbed in mustard and they can't do nothing about that. But I mean, Jeremy watches it, well, you don't. And Jeremy watches enough food and to watch how things are prepared, and 90% of your true, real good
if you're eating pulled pork or brisket at a barbecue joint, most likely it was rubbed in mustard before they put their barbecue rub on it and smoked it, and you get zero mustard flavor.
Correct.
I'm going to assume that every barbecue place I've ever been to is not one of those places, and I'm just going to live my life that way. Okay?
Well,
they don't do it.
They couldn't help that, which I was like, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. But I did just in case, because I didn't know what was going to come from the mustard seeds, and I figured it said red wine sauce and pickled mustard seeds. I was figuring, being at the end like that, they put that on the end anyways. Yeah. And I asked, and they did say yes, they can keep that off. So with that being said, eating it, I really, really enjoyed this a lot.
I did too.
I thought the steak was cooked to perfection for me.
About a medium rare, would you say? Close to medium, though? Let's just say I don't believe it was cooked in a manner that would be off-putting to anyone unless they only do well done.
Correct.
If you eat anything under well done, even if you go from medium well all the way down to medium rare, I think you'd be happy with the way this steak was prepared. And it's flank
really
steak.
good.
You know what I mean? Flank steak, when it is cooked right and it's cut right, it is tender pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
So that part I think was great.
Yes, I did. I agree. And the cream spinach croissant pinwheel was really good.
Nice and flaky.
All of it together, like I personally really, really like this dish.
Yeah. All the bites were wonderful. The only knock I would give it, and that would be more if you were only eating like one or two of the components, was kind of that gravy sauce that was on top. It was almost overly salty and did taste processed or canned, I feel like. So
You did.
to me,
That's
if you
right.
ate
You did
just
say
if
that.
you took just the gravy, you're like, this is canned gravy.
Right.
If you maybe ate just the meat and the gravy, you still might be like, all right, this meat is good enough. I don't want to ruin it with the gravy. But when you got the gravy, you got the meat, you got the croissant with the spinach in it, I'm sure for you, part of the mushroom, it was a really delicious, incredible bite.
Yes, it was.
I loved it. This is another one that I think would do really well. Now, it was cold when we were there. I think this would do well for Festival of the Holidays as well. Mm-hmm. You know,
Yes.
as an at the artist table even maybe type situation. So, all right, let's move on to Deco Delights. Now, we did not stop here this year. One of the things they have that is on the colorful walk of cuisine that we might just have to get next time.
We've had it.
We've had this in the past.
Yeah.
It's the almond frangipanini cake layered with raspberry jam and Belgian chocolate for $5. Mm-hmm. I don't remember it in the past, so that's probably just means it was fine for me. I don't remember it where I want to tell you about it because it's so good, but I don't remember it where I want to tell you about it because it's so bad. You know what I mean?
I think it's just an almond cake. Like it's I think the flavor is just nice, and if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I would like to get it again. They also do have, which I got last year, a Boyd and Blair espresso martini for $12, which was a really good just espresso martini.
Yeah, and you really enjoyed that in the
did.
past. And they have all new, which again, these sound great if you're a beer drinker. They have a Three Daughters Brewing vanilla bean ice cream beer that's new. They've got a Keel Farm strawberry shortcake hard cider. And then this is the only one I don't think sounds that good based on my preferences, is a Left Hand Brewing Company milk stout with coconut.
Yeah.
But those other two sound very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the deconstructed dish. While we did not stop here this year because there is nothing new, deconstructed BLT we've talked about all the time.
Yes, we have.
We absolutely love it.
Yes, we have.
Deconstructed key lime pie. That's also on the colorful walk of cuisine, I'm pretty sure.
We're going to get that.
So we
again.
need to get that next time because we love that as well. Like, you can't go wrong there.
Yep.
They also have a deconstructed strawberry mint julep that is frozen mint, simple syrup, blend with strawberry puree. This is non-alcoholic for $4.75. It's good. It's
it is.
frozen mint julep with a little bit of strawberry.
Yep.
It's refreshing. It's light. We didn't get it this year, but I do want to maybe get it in the next 2 trips.
And you can also get one if you wanting some alcohol with Jim Beam straight bourbon.
Yes. Yes. So you can do that as well. And I've done that one in the past and really enjoyed it. The bourbon works very well with it. Mm-hmm. So next we'll move to El Artista Hambriento, the Hungry Artist in Mexico, our favorite booth year after year. Yep. I could be mistaken. I do not believe anything was new this year. Disney did not have this listed as new. Some other sites did. John Self, yell at me. Don't yell at me. We just didn't stop because I did not believe there were new items. But they have some of our favorites usually. I remember the Carde Asada from last year.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. They have a croqueta with chipotle chicken. And then they have this creamy corn custard with caramelized sugar that I swear we did last year as well. So I might just have to get some clarification as we're in the middle of recording and it comes to my mind. Wait, we're stuff new? We didn't even stop. So
we didn't, but I'm sure we will this next time.
Yeah, we will for sure.
Ate so much
stuff
that we just couldn't. Like we were near it and I'm like,
yeah, I believe on Friday we had 19 food items.
Yeah, so see.
2 of them were repeats, 17 were new.
Right.
Saturday, because we didn't spend a lot of time at the festival, and you'll hear next episode what we ended up doing instead, but we had another at least 3 to 5 dishes. So we ate somewhere around 25 dishes, just the 2 of us over this 2-day period, which is a lot. And we finished 99% of them.
Yeah.
Right? So let's move on to Figment's Inspiration Station. That is inside of the Odyssey. That is where the Figment Premium Popcorn Bucket with Rainbow Popcorn is this year. $28. It's new. While supplies last. What is the process for obtaining
only
a popcorn bucket?
mobile order?
Yeah. Yep.
So you mobile order it, excuse me, when you get there, and it will pick up, have a window pickup time, which is super exciting because, first of all, they've changed it. So if you're a Starbucks buyer and you go into your Starbucks and then you go to another window, it's up there in an iPhone up top.
Yeah, they added that to mobile order in my Disney experience.
They did.
A
So
week
all
ago.
you have to do is click, you touch it up top, and it'll come right back up. What's really cool is we figured that you can push back your time to come pick it up.
It was nice. You could just
so nice,
because it's going to assign you your first time, and then you just kind of pick as you and choose. So
it's great.
It was a wonderful process. When your time's ready, you show up about 5 minutes ahead of your window or within your window. You hit I'm here. You get in the line. You show them your order ready, and they take you right through. They hand you a popcorn bucket. You're out of there.
Yep.
It went very, very wonderfully.
Yes, it did.
There are tons and tons and tons of these popcorn buckets. I doubt they're going to run out anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got one. I love it. It's great. Now, new this year, well, they have the old rainbow cake topped with Skittles Pop freeze dried
which was
candy.
fantastic.
We love that.
Yep, we did.
Beautiful. It's delicious.
Yep.
New this year is a raspberry pastry tart. It's a sugar cookie with raspberry and lemon cream cheese filling. It's new for $5. What'd you think of this? This is the first thing we had.
This was like a breakfast.
Yeah.
Which was great. This was, I hate to say, but this was better than any Woody's lunchbox tart we've ever eaten.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. There was icing all on top. The lemon and raspberry cream cheese filling was not abundant, but it wasn't not enough.
Yeah, it worked.
It
worked
was
in
just
the overall
it worked.
flavor profile,
and I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the whole thing.
I'll eat another one of these.
I would
gladly. I thought it
Absolutely.
was so good.
100%.
You know, they're saying this sugar cookie. It really is like a sugar cookie meets your regular pastry meets shortbread.
Yeah.
And it is dense but delicious. One of the things I do like the little Pop-Tarts over at Woody's
I do too.
Lunchbox, but they're very dry.
Yeah.
This somehow was not dry.
Correct.
Like I loved it.
Yep.
I would like to see more and more of these flavors with this style come to future festivals or adopt this exact recipe and put it over at Woody's Lunchbox.
Yeah.
I'd be hard to walk by that place without getting one of any flavor imaginable.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was so dang good. All right, let's move on to fictional victuals. This is new this year for 2025. So all new items, and we did end up trying all three. I will start first with the Boyd & Blair Aldous Fathom because Tay got this. This is lime juice, simple syrup, juniper, and Boyd & Blair vodka. It is new this year because the whole booth is new for $12. So I'm guessing this is how they've always been doing these Boyd & Blairs, but I just never noticed it. What they're doing, they have a 1.5 liter bottle of Boyd & Blair, the big ones, and they've either poured some out, done whatever, but they're mixing the entire drink pre-mixed, ready to go in that bottle, and they're just pouring it straight in.
Okay.
So I just never seen them do that way. Usually it's like they have a machine, you put it in, you put a little vodka, whatever in it separate. So it was ready to go. He said it was very, very, very strong.
Oh.
But that's what part of me is wondering is if it's sitting in that manner in that bottle or some things separating. And if they're not giving it a good shake, are things separating where I don't know. Again, I don't know how science works and if vodka's going top or bottom.
Right.
But did he get overly that? Like, I don't know. But he did try that. All right. So among their items, they have a squid ink pasta with lump crab, truffle cream, shaved truffle for $7.75. They have a charred octopus with crushed fingerling potatoes, calamala olives, capers and romesco sauce for $7.75. And then they have this black cocoa brownie with ube ice cream, coral toulet, and sponge cake for $6.50. So I'll just start with the octopus because I waited for Tay to do this on Saturday because I didn't know that he would eat octopus. But if you've met him, he seems like a guy that would probably eat octopus. Even if he's never had it, he's going to be like, I'll try it, whatever. Right. So we went and got it. They have a grill right behind. Yeah. They are grilling octopus all day. It's the tentacles. It is a octopus leg right there. They're small. And you got one full one. It's purplish and black and a little white. You can see tiny
very
kind of suction. It is right there.
Looking.
Very octopi-y, right? And then next to that is this mashup mess of additional pieces of octopus, The olives, the potatoes, capers, romesco sauce. Tay and I both agreed, like, the octopus was cooked correctly.
Okay.
But the whole thing was just one note and bland. It was like,
weird. I took one bite, and apparently I did get octopus because
I think you might have. But
there was a
here's
ring.
the thing, you couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell between the octopus and the potatoes. Like, some of the potatoes was like a whole kind of little bit of mashed fingerling potato.
Mm-hmm.
Other parts were cubed up. Some of the octopus was the leg tentacle looking things. Some of it was just cut so it was the circles. And it all just was there. And it was a mess. And it all was one texture. And it was just kind of like a big glob. I don't know. It wasn't good. Neither one of us cared for it. And it wasn't because the octopus wasn't good. That actually was probably the best part of the thing.
Yeah.
So, a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But the other two items were not disappointing that you and I did on opening day.
And I would say save your money for this, because then not only did we get it opening day and it was really good, but Tay also got it and Jeremy got to taste it again. So if, how was that?
So both dishes tasted the exact same. Now, like, I don't think Tay loved it as much as we did overall.
And we're talking obviously about the squid ink pasta.
Sorry. Yeah.
I found the sound of it sounds bad. The look of it was cool because it's just black pasta. I wish it wasn't called squid ink pasta. Which was just called pasta with pasta with lump crab.
The squid ink is providing color.
Yeah.
You're not getting flavor. It's not like all of a sudden you're like, I'm eating calamari or something. You know what I mean? You do not get flavor from it. You just get the color. So, but I totally understand where it could be off-putting when somebody reads it and sees it, perhaps,
I thought it was really good. I thought that the truffle cream was light. The pasta was cooked to perfection.
And it tasted handmade.
It did.
I thought,
it was really good. I really, really enjoyed it.
This was top 3 dish for me.
Okay.
Easily, hands down. It had pieces of lump crab and just enough crab flavor throughout. I am good with truffle when there's not too much. There was not too much. It was the lightest hint. Now there were some shaved truffle on there as well that I just didn't eat. But again, the cream wasn't too much. It's another one of those. If you have never had truffle, this would be a good place to start. It's not going to punch you in the face like those truffle fries over at Cowfish. Those were too much for me. I couldn't eat them. I didn't like them. So I absolutely loved this. I would get it again and again. And at $7.75, it is a nice hearty portion of pasta. So this is like a lunch almost, when you maybe get another thing or two. Talk about the black cocoa brownie, because this one, I hadn't seen a photo of it.
It was beautiful.
I think my brain just forgot it's Festival of the Arts. It's one of the most artistic dishes we saw. But talk about it, I guess, in general, the composition and the pieces of it, right?
Yeah, so it's really cool because, your ube ice cream is purple. This black cocoa brownie is black. With actual, I would call it the
icing.
Icing.
Yeah,
but what is
like
that?
Ice. Is that like piped icing on it as well that was chocolate?
No.
On top of the brownie.
No,
as
it was
part
white.
of the design.
Well,
whatever. It was but there was icing on the brownie.
Yes.
And the brownie was super dense.
It was super dense, but it was weird because it worked so well and it was so good.
Yeah.
Like the taste, even by itself, I kept eating it. And then with the icing, buttercream. That's what I want to say.
Yeah,
like
I
a
think it was a
buttercream
buttercream.
icing.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. The ice cream with it was fantastic. The sponge cake, like all of the components together. It was just, I would have almost gotten this again, but I will talk later about my favorite dessert that I was going back for. But the line was just way too long. But this was really good, and I would get it again.
Yeah. I was off-put at first when I went, because to me there's 3 layers. There's cake, there's a denser, which would be like a brownie, and then to me there's denser fudge. This was much more on the fudge to me.
Yeah.
As far as density, but a brownie flavor. So when I first, I'm used to taking the side of my plastic fork and maybe taking it through a brownie. This was hard to get through.
You almost needed a knife.
Yeah. And at first I was kind of off put until I started eating it, and everything works so well. Individually and together. It might have been my favorite dessert that we had. I'll have to think about it again when we talk about the other one. Okay. But again, they do have a butterscotch milkshake with chocolate garnish there for $5. It's non-alcoholic. I may see about getting that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I want to see what it's like compared to frozen butterbeer. For me, I like butterscotch, but not something where the only flavor is butterscotch. So I didn't get it because I thought it was just going to be just too much.
Yeah, we'll have to get it.
So we'll try it. Over at Goshiki in Japan, now they do have a new taiyaki. We did not get it this time. It's a crisp, flaky fish-shaped pastry filled with sweet red bean, served with whipped topping and blueberry popping boba for $6.75. One of the reasons we didn't get it is, sometimes we go, we'd rather hit a booth just at all, even if we only have one new item, than get all the new items there and miss out on something somewhere else. So we decided to only get one. So that was part of the reason. The other reason is that none of that sounds good at all. I'm not big on the red bean stuff.
We've had that before.
Yeah, blueberry popping boba on it. So anyway, we did, and they have the sushi donut, which is a favorite year after year. Mm-hmm. They have a Wagyu bun, right? Which has been available at some past festivals. This is new to this festival. Mm-hmm. What is it? What'd you think of it?
This is a steam bun filled with American Wagyu beef served with Japanese mustard sauce and violet shishito sauce for $9.75.
One big bun. It's a good size
bun.
One
big bun,
yep. Very large.
This was really good beef. Ground beef.
Yeah. It tastes like teriyaki ground beef in a steamed bun.
It really
does.
Not
Wagyu. It is not anything special.
Right. But it's great.
Good.
Yep.
And you're going to hear this comparison again, and it's not a knock. It's to help you know what you get. This is something that you go to Costco, and they have 24 of these in the frozen section. And it's in that big plastic kind of shell with the individual, and each bun's like the beef Wellington ones we have almost and it's a little bite, and you pick them up, and all you got to do is maybe throw them in your oven or microwave or something, and it comes out, and it's great for what you need. Right. And that's what this is.
Yeah.
If you sat and got this and ordered the description at Morimoto, you're going to be disappointed in what you get.
Yeah, 100%.
But here, I loved it, and I'd get it again. Teriyaki beef in a nice bun, steamed bun, right?
Yep.
So I'd get it again. So that's exactly what it is. All right.
We also did get the Okinawa lemonade, which
Okinawa lemonade.
Yeah, lemonade mixed with
citrus. Just say citrus.
Citrus that is Japanese.
Yeah.
This is non-alcoholic, obviously, and $6.75, and it was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was. I felt like it was a take on China lemonade.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, it was like an Asian style lemonade. Yep. It was refreshing. It'd be real good in the summer.
Yep.
Nothing like crazy. If you like lemonade, you would like this.
I agree.
100%. All right, let's move on to gourmet landscapes. Now, in the past, Rhonda's always loved the wild mushroom risotto.
Yes.
It's got aged Parmesan, truffle shavings, and a Zinfandel reduction. $9.75.
So
we have said again in the past, risotto is one of those here that if you maybe get the bottom of the barrel of it, it might not be great, but when you get a good one, dang, is it good.
Yes.
They also have new this year. We did not get this one. I'll see if we have time to get it. I'll try it. It doesn't interest me. I think Lucy would like it because she actually likes beets. It is a citrus braised beet tartare. It's got golden beet egg yolk in quotations, a mustard vinaigrette, pickled mustard seeds, pickled mushrooms, spiced pistachios, and a feta snow. Of course, it's plant-based, $5.50. Like half.
I don't know if you would
I
eat
just don't
anything.
Like.
I just started to say,
I have to say, could you not do the mustard vinaigrette? Could you not do the pickled mustard seeds? While you're there, don't put on pickled mushrooms. And at that point, I'm just eating thin beets with some nuts and feta.
Yeah,
so
if anything, I would have to try it. But,
okay, we'll see. $5.50. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be mad if we throw away $5.50 just for you to try it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we'll see if we decide to do something like that. They also have the chocolate nail. That is an alcoholic beverage I've had in the past that I really enjoyed. It's a frozen scotch cocktail. So it's scotch and herbal tea, and it's garnished literally with this little chocolate nail for $15.50. It's a small beverage. It doesn't pack much of a punch, but I do think it is pretty flavorful.
Amy liked it too when she got it.
In the past. All right, we're going to move on to l'art de la cuisine. This is in France. So they have two new items that we tried. We'll talk about.
Yep.
They have I think a festival favorite, a fan favorite It's a Main Street Magic favorite.
Yeah.
They have a warm, creamy brie and a house-made bread bowl for $9.95.
So good.
If you like brie, it is basically a creamy, melted fondue brie inside of a bread bowl that you just dip up, scoop up, eat the whole thing, and it's great. Love it. Now, they do have new this year. I'm not going to read the France name for it, the French name for it, but it's a puff pastry. It is filled with duck, chicken, onions, mushrooms, cranberries, and it's got a duck sauce on the side. This is $9.95, so it is a good use of your snack credit there. What'd you think of it? I guess paint a picture from what they're calling duck sauce to the actual pastry portion.
So the duck sauce is like this thick gravy that has started to get cold, and it's a little jiggly.
Yeah. You know who it was? And Kiki messaged me on Instagram when I posted about it, and her response, and she was right, I didn't think of it. She said, "Too much cornstarch?" ? Which you would use to thicken a gravy, and that's exactly what happens.
Yes.
Yeah, it almost becomes jelly-like.
Yes. And then you have the pastry kind of like sitting in it, but on the side, which is nice.
Yeah.
You didn't need that much
sauce
on the side. For one. For two, I personally didn't like the taste of it, and I didn't feel like it was needed.
Agreed.
Because I will say on the inside with the duck and the chicken and the mushrooms and onions, I will say it is basically like, to me, also like they mixed all this up and they made a little patty out of it.
Yep.
And then they encased it with this puff pastry. And it was really good. It was really good with all the like together. I really it was one of those things where I took a bite and I wasn't sure. And then it's almost like you don't want to look at it because you feel like you could be probably thrown off by the patty inside. And you're kind of like, but if you eat it, close your eyes, the flavors, everything is really good. Stephanie loved it. She loved it with the duck sauce. But she also got the brie. So she was eating that with the brie. And I think that would probably consist better.
I would try that.
Taste. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. They liked the duck sauce gravy thing. Neither one of us personally liked it, but I loved the tart portion. And I'm sure people that have been to France will be like, you're an insane person. In my mind, this is the type of thing I could see you walking down the street in like somewhere in France. You walked into like a little bakery, and this is served in one of those brown, like almost, it's like the wax paper kind of like you'd stick pastries or whatever in. You get it in one of those, no sauce, just the pastry with the filling and that patty. My only gripe is that if you gave it to me and I didn't read a description, I would never know duck was any part of it. To me, there wasn't any of the richness of a duck.
I felt like there was a little bit.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, slightly.
But I loved it still.
Not like overpowering.
I think in my brain, so again, it's one of those when I first saw it and bit into it, I'm thinking, well, this isn't what I expected. I expected this to be more of a pot pie that would actually have like chunks of maybe some duck and chicken and mushroom and all in there, as opposed to all being kind of like you said, ground up and in a patty. But I still loved it.
Yeah.
And I would walk around with this just in my hand and that little wax paper thing, just eating it.
Yeah.
Like that. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I really enjoyed it. Then they have this escargot in chocolat.
Yes.
Right? So what you read and go, you're what now?
I know. When I saw that, I was like, ew.
Yeah. When you just read the description,
but
right?
Then it's
chocolate mousse, flourless cake, citrus coulis, almond chocolate coating, and a dark chocolate decoration. New $9.25. So you're like, all right, escargot's in the name. There's no escargot in the description. Right. What the heck is this thing?
Right.
What is this thing?
It is a dessert that is shaped like a snail, and it's super cool. So that dark chocolate decoration is the snail head part, and the chocolate mousse flourless cake is the ball of the snail.
Yeah.
And
the shell.
Yeah. And this thing was, so let's see. It says almond chocolate coating. There it is. The citrus. So Stephanie's described it before I ate it as, y'all remember the orange chocolate balls that you break, and they break open to these like chocolate slices that it tastes. It's orange chocolate.
Yeah.
This is exactly what this was. It tasted. Tay loved it. I loved it. I would get this again.
I would too.
This was fantastic.
I really enjoyed it. And
I loved all of it.
We have started to steer clear of anything at Disney that has the word flourless in it because they're just usually not very enjoyable. And this was
really
outstanding.
good.
Yeah. And it is cool. Like, as Rhonda's saying, you had this, it was this wafer on the bottom that was kind of like the bottom that sat on the plate. That was kind of like, the bottom of a snail. And then, this wraparound thin piece of chocolate that came up as a neck, head, and eyes. And on top of that was the big ball, like its shell. And it is a beautiful dish. It's hearty. It's heavy.
It's beautiful if you get the right piece. Yeah. There was a couple coming out. And one, I'm glad somebody had it in front of me because, of course, we want to take a picture. And I don't know what I would have done if they would have handed it to me without the head. But one piece broke off. So this person got it in front of me. And then she pulled out for mine. Was actually a really nice picturesque piece. I think somebody behind me, there was another piece that was broken and they're just giving those out. And I'm
no
like,
fault to them. I mean, on Saturday, not only did we wait in a very lengthy line for this booth, we then had to wait in another very, very lengthy line to get the food, like, because they were so backed up. So I think at that point they were just trying to get stuff out. They should have closed new orders at some point there and emptied the wait because that one was a little out of hand on Saturday, but it was freaking nuts. Every last drink here is good. They're all alcoholic, but their frozen French martini is a fan favorite year after year. They have this elderflower liqueur spritz with Saint Germain liqueur, sparkling wine, and mint. So good. So good. So they have a lot of really great drinks there. Let's move on to our friends down the street in Italy. Right? So we got Italy. They have 2 new items this year for food. Yep. They have last year's mozzarella fritta, which is a flash fried breaded mozzarella with artist palette condiments for $9. It's a square of mozzarella stick and a pesto, pomodoro, and like Alfredo sauce dippers on the side. Yep. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fried cheese.
It's fried cheese.
Fried cheese is always good.
Yep.
But it's fine.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. They have a tricolore, which is it's 3 cheese-filled ravolinis. One of those is covered in pomodoro sauce, which is like a marinara. One is a cream sauce, which was much more of an Alfredo, and then a pesto sauce for $8.75. Let's just start there.
So I am going to compare this to Costco. When you're at Costco,
I told you it was coming up again
with your family, and they are around the time giving bites out, and they're like, they're right there in the freezer, and they've heated it up. You've taken a bite, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is good. I could eat this at home. Yeah. That is exactly what this was. This was a good Costco bite that you get free, but you're paying for. Yeah. So if if you like cheese ravioli, I personally like the pesto sauce the best.
Agreed.
But would I go and get this again? No, because I would go and get the squid ink pasta again. Yeah. No, because I would get the chicken pot pie in America again. Yeah. But if you're there with your kid and you're like, well, they're not going to eat the black pasta. This is great for a child. Or your parents.
Well, when you really bring it up, and it does sound awful, Italy is made for kids. The Italy booth, every single festival, it's made for kids. It is familiar Italian American foods that everybody has had and everybody will have again because it's convenient, it's easy. This is a Thursday night when you need something quick and you kind of forgot you had to have dinner because you got to take one kid to this practice and another kid to do this thing, and you got a short window, and you go, you know what? We have these frozen cheese raviolis in our freezer. We know that we can just boil them up real quick or whatever. And we have a jar of one of these 3 sauces, and that's just what we're going to do. And everybody eats some, and you're happy, and you go on to do your activities. Yeah. Nobody's complaining or anything, but that's what it is.
At least it's edible this year.
Yes, it is. I mean when you look at those Italian nachos, even the meatballs last time were just awful. Like not even like throw away.
Right.
And so
we ate most of all this.
Yeah. This works when it needs to work, but I wouldn't waste your money on it unless it's something that only you eat or your child will eat. And when you look at something like Rana said, the squid ink pasta that seems homemade and it's inventive, because the thing is, all they really had to do here was maybe a little bit of fresh shaved Parmesan on top of the cream sauce, right? Maybe actually, I know they're expensive, but a couple little toasted pine nuts on top of the pesto one. And let's give a little fresh, maybe chopped basil on top of the pomodoro one. That would have at least made it like, at least you guys tried, you know? So that's what you got here. Now we'll move on to the hazelnut s'more cannoli. We usually do like their desserts here. Cannoli shell dipped in chocolate and graham cracker chocolate hazelnut cannoli cream and toasted marshmallows. Again, new, $5.50. You're on your way to a party or a gathering. You forgot to grab something to bring. You were supposed to bring dessert, so you go into Publix or Costco. They have these in one of those plastic containers made, ready to go. You buy them, you put them out on a plate yourself, not just serve them out of there, and everybody eats them and goes, oh, that thing's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is.
I mean, it was creamy. It was, the cannoli shell was great, crunchy, flaky, really good. I didn't get a ton of the hazelnut flavor,
No.
I guess.
That filling I thought tasted
fine.
straight up like hot chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I liked it.
Yeah.
Only thing I would, so there's two little mini toasted marshmallow sides on each cannoli opening, right?
Yeah.
I wish the only thing that could have made it better is if you had some of that marshmallow fluff stuff maybe mixed in with the chocolate kind of mousse creamy stuff. Mm-hmm. But again, like, I'm not going to stand in line to get this. But if we were walking past and I wanted something sweet and nobody was in line, I'd be like, I'll go grab one. Why not?
Yeah, but with the other desserts, I would.
No, there's definitely better desserts.
Other
We will
desserts.
say that. All right, let's move on to opening bites. Of course, this is their newest booth for these festivals.
Right.
Therefore, they label all the food as new.
But they're not.
None of the food is new.
Correct.
All right. They got a soft shell crab slider that was available last year at a different booth. Mm-hmm. They have the cheddar and chive scone with smoked salmon salad. That was available in the past at a different booth, and it might have been France. And they have the enchanted rose, the milk chocolate rose with raspberry and rose center for $6.50. It is the same one that you can get over at Fairfax Fair, over at Hollywood Studios, that we had actually several months ago with their enchanted Bell Cup drink that they have there. Mm-hmm. It's very, very good.
We did. We got both of these, the soft shell crab for Jeremy and then the enchanted rose for me. I feel like this booth for the soft shell crab slider, you gotta be somebody who is from up north.
You have to eat soft shell crab.
And like that, because it is literally looks like a little baby crab.
It's a tiny crab fully fried. I mean, they're soft shell crabs. Looking. Its legs, its body, it's everything. And it looks like a crab that has been breaded and fried. You can see the legs.
Yep.
So this is one where I wouldn't be like, if you've never had soft shell crab, you should try this one. No, don't. Because it's going to be off-putting. If you take that top... First of all, the legs are sticking out the side of the bun. And if you take that top bun on and you just see a whole crab laying there, you might not want it. It is one of my favorite things that I had. I love it. Last year I enjoyed it. Rachel had it, did not get a good one, she thought, and did not enjoy it. I got it this year. It was as perfect as it could be. It was meaty. It's like biting into a little crab cake slider. It is very light, which I love. It is... Because I'm always weary about something like a crab cake or a soft shell crab or anything with crab when they got to zhuzh it up all the time.
Yeah.
There is such a little amount of mango ketchup and a little bit amount of that papaya slaw that just works perfectly.
Good.
It's not overpowering. It's barely there, but it's just enough to add to the flavor of the crab. And this little brioche bun, perfection.
Good, baby.
If I got on a Disney cruise line and these little brioche buns were the ones they put in front of me instead of the rocks they've served us on the Magic, I'd be so happy. I love this thing. I wanted to get another one yesterday, but it was just things were busy. I want to get one more of these before it ends.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
And I really like the enchanted rose. It's milk chocolate rose with raspberry rose in the center. And it's really just good all around. Yeah. I really like it.
Texture and composition is very similar to the escargot de chocolat. Yeah. It is like a chocolatish wafer with this moussey rose on top, and it's light and it's very good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yes, it is.
Actually love that one. All right, we're going to move on to the Painted Panda over at China. Now, they have the General Tso's chicken shumai. Sorry. These are dumplings filled with chicken, potato, onion, and water chestnut, topped with General Tso's sauce. This is $10.75. Very good use of snack credit. We've enjoyed this in the past, but $10.75 I think is a lot for it.
Yeah.
Personally. So new this year, they have the hargao, which is shrimp dumplings with pumpkin puree and drizzle of chili oil for $10.75. Snack plan eligible. It's not a good use of your snack plan, and it's not a good use of your money.
No.
So we'll say that for now, and then we'll get into it. And then they have an egg tart. This is a Hong Kong-style egg custard tart for $5.50.
There's a lot of tarts this year.
They've been listening to the podcast. They know my love of tarts. So they're tarting up the farts. Right? A lot of tarts at farts. I didn't know what you were going to say, and I didn't have anything after that.
Oh, I'm like,
all right, let's start with the hargao. These shrimp dumplings were awful, and we threw one away.
Yeah, because there was 3 of them.
Yeah, for $10.75 is atrocious. First of all, if these were good, $10.75 was a lot for this plate of food in comparison to the pricing and amount of food of every other single dish in this entire festival.
Yeah, yeah. There was 3. So I didn't take a bite of half of it. I just put the whole thing in my mouth.
Mistake number 1.
And yeah, I don't know. It was all mushy. I didn't really get a ton of shrimp flavor. I don't know. It was just not good.
It was not. And the pumpkin puree underneath tasted like baby food.
Yeah, kind of
did. It was cold.
It was, yeah.
The best thing I can, like, the idea, again, was good. Like, the composition of the dumpling was good. It was a good small steamed dumpling. You would normally get these at your sushi place filled with, like, pork or something. We did recently. They're great. It was cooked right. The ends, like, if you've had previously frozen shrimp, you know the difference between previously frozen raw shrimp and previously frozen cooked shrimp, right? Even when you thaw out that cooked shrimp, there's a certain taste.
Sometimes I don't.
Like, but you also know the difference between when it says previously fresh frozen, like they pulled it out of the water and they flash froze it.
Right.
And ones that maybe don't have that word in it. Like, you can tell a difference. That's what it tasted like. Previously cooked frozen shrimp that you just let thaw in the fridge and the ice crystals and stuff melted, so it's kind of a little watery. And you maybe just kind of took it out of there and then you put it in a food processor, maybe with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You pulsed it until it's unrecognizable and then shoved it in this dumpling. That's exactly what it tastes like. It tasted like thawed, cooked shrimp that thawed in your sink all day. And then you just decided to throw on a salad or something. So don't get it. It was awful.
Yeah.
So I have nothing else to say about it.
Anyways, moving on to the tart.
Yeah.
Because
let's talk about the tart.
That was really good, I thought. I got a very good one. Because I'm going to say that I think this is one, when I say this, unfortunately, John got it. And it was, I think, unfortunately, with tarts like this, it is a very, very fine line of being cooked correctly and then it tasting like scrambled eggs.
Yeah. It's when you have to temper in, like, the eggs. When you're adding the eggs to a custard to make it, there's a difference between the way you slowly add it to the certain temperature of the cream and stuff that's in there so that you don't basically make scrambled eggs. If you don't do it properly and you put it in too quick or the liquid is too hot, you basically get scrambled eggs are more like a quiche. And that's what I think John ended up with. I think
he did.
Was much more quiche-y and scrambled eggy as an insert. We did not.
Unfortunately, he did. We did not. And it was fantastic. I thought that this dish saved
the booth
of us not like... But again, the General Tso chicken, that was the dumpling one. That was good.
Yeah, it was like that in the past.
But this new thing, no. This egg tart for me was the most surprising dish.
Yeah, because at first I didn't really know what to expect. When you see it, it looks more like a small quiche.
Yes, it does.
What you end up getting is almost like this quiche and creme brulee kind of got together, because the inside is a very creamy custard. It is ours was creamier than a creme brulee, which can be a little denser of a custard. But it was warm. It was so shockingly good.
Yep. We ate this whole thing.
And even now, I'm almost thinking, it'd be good. Maybe some fresh beer. No, it actually needs nothing.
It was good.
It needs nothing. I would get it again, actually, and knowing if it's prepared this way. Now, part of me wants to get it again just to see if it's not prepared this way as well.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. The Butterfly Blue, their alcoholic beverage that is butterfly pea flower infused cocktail with vodka, light rum, lychee syrup, and magic boba pearls for $13.75 in the past. And I would possibly still say it if I still drank alcohol. I think it's the best cocktail pretty much that I'd ever had on Disney property.
Yeah, I'll agree.
At the time.
So good.
And it was amazing. It is so good. They pour them fresh and they pour them heavy here. So it is definitely a good spend of your money on an alcoholic beverage, honestly. All right, let's move on to Pastoral Palette. This is over in Germany. They have new this year a pork and white bean cassolette with Regensburger sausage and crispy pork rinds for $7. It's one of the very few new dishes we did not get. I'll be honest, it was not at the top of my list on something I was excited to try.
Right.
So as it made it to the bottom of the list, it just got outlisted. Like, we just didn't get around to it.
Right.
And even when we did on Saturday, I was going to get it, but we walked past Germany. Nobody else in our group needed or wanted to stop at Germany, so I wasn't going to make them because the line was longer.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to hold you all up. So we just didn't get it. We probably won't get it. They've had something similar in the past. It's been okay. What you should get here is the short rib, which is a red wine braised beef short rib. It has a parsnip puree. I think it was one of the first times we had parsnip puree that we love. Broccolini that we love. Baby tomatoes and a balsamic glaze for $8.75.
Yes.
Very good use of your snack credit.
And the Black Forest cake is really good.
Very
it's
good
a
as well.
chocolate mousse with Mordello cherries and chantilly cream for $5. This was really good as well.
Pop Eats, one of our favorites.
Yep.
Didn't make it. Don't know if we will this year. Again, not because it's not good.
So good.
Amazing tomato soup with grilled cheese for $6, or I would recommend this one.
I would too.
Tomato soup with the pimento cheese, bacon, and fried green tomato grilled cheese. Only 75 cents more at $6.75.
So good.
And this is one of those, again, I always say, like, if you're not sure about this, you should try this. If you're not sure about the southern delicacies of pimento cheese or fried green tomatoes, this might be a time to give them a try because they're not the star of the show. They all work well together. Plus, you got familiar cheese and bacon and bread. And the soup is perfect.
Yes.
It's in this cute little Pop Arts paint can looking thing. It is not a keepsake unless you're me, because I do have one on my shelf behind me. I will never forget washing that one out in the bathroom right there next to Swirled Showcase. And the guy just looked at me oddly, and I was like, yes, I'm one of the people that is going to save this, because I was cleaning all the soup out. Let's move on to Tangerine Cafe, flavors of the Medina in Morocco.
Oh, Lord.
The grilled kebabs with either chamula chicken or Moroccan spiced lamb are wonderful for $6.25.
Fantastic.
They are great. It is meat on a stick cooked with fire.
And garlic aioli, and it's great.
Perfect.
Great.
They also have stone-baked Moroccan bread with assorted dips. This is all plant-based for $5.25. You get this big piece of Moroccan bread that they are right in a fired electric gas, I should say, fired oven in front of you. And it's this small kind of like fresh pita. It's got 3 little dips. It is super good. Steph loves it. She got it yesterday. Loved it again.
Tay got the grilled kebabs.
Yeah.
Everything was great.
So good. Shout out to Swede Meatball on Twitter, who I met Brian.
Yeah.
Finally, him and I have interacted a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he happened to be there the same time we were and came up and said hello. So it was nice to finally meet him in person. Here's the new dish that we tried as a group.
Yes, we did.
Right? And you can talk more about it because it's the avocado coconut custard tart with pomegranate cream and henna-inspired gelee veal. It is plant-based, and it is $5.25. Just, okay, you can talk about it first. You want me to talk about it?
Well, first of all, the way it comes out, they're trying to be pretty, but you can't when this is a light colored greenish yellow gelee on top that Jeremy explained as
First of all, shout out to Xavier for biting the bullet and being the one that purchased this.
Yes.
And we got to try it.
Yes.
So thank you, or otherwise I don't know that we would have tried it.
We would have.
And
then we would have. No, because you were going to buy it,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, we'll get it. And then I tasted it, and praise God, because we would have wasted $5.25 because we would have each taken a bite, and then we would have thrown the rest away.
100%. This Geely thing that they're calling on top, it looked like, I'll try and paint one that everyone should understand, because I've also seen something similar in the bottom of a urinal. It looks like the bath mats that you've probably seen in like your grandma's house. It's like a small circular bath mat. It goes right in the middle of their tub to help them from not slipping.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like tiny pebbles all put together, or like those jelly shoes from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this looks like, but green. And it's also what the texture of it is, and I'm pretty sure the taste.
Well, when you described it, unfortunately, as I don't go to a urinal. I am a woman. But Jeremy described it as, I guess, is it considered a splash guard for guys?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the splash guard at the bottom of a urinal. You usually see them in the floor urinals, which I hate, because if you are tall like me, you will splash pee onto your feet. So don't use those. But they put this in the bottom to help anti-splashing, I should say.
Right.
It's not like your standard cakes, which look more like the big Clorox things you put in the back of a toilet tank. Those are also urinal cakes that are also there, but this is another kind of
I mean, just imagining now this in the bottom of a urinal, and it turns, like, maybe it starts out white or clear, and now
I don't know that much about.
Right,
but yes,
that's when you told me, my brain starts going, ew.
Yeah,
that's just so. Anyways, that's exactly what my brain did. But so it's very strange looking.
It was artful. It wasn't an art that I think worked for any of us. Again, we're all thinking this, and we had a big group looking, and half the group was tasting. So
then they tasted, and they watched me, and even Scott was like, I should have videoed.
Yeah.
I like avocado. I don't really like coconut. This was not good. It was very plain. I remember when the kids were young and baby food would come out and I would taste it. It kind of tasted like baby food. Yeah. It was bland, but it was just not good at all. Yeah. I did not even want a second bite.
Nobody did.
Yeah.
And we had 4 or 5 of us take bites, and we still threw half of it away, I think. Did
Xavier was the one who was like, it's not bad. And I could see where it was very plain. I don't know. It just didn't work. Yeah. I don't think so. I would say save your money. If you're going to get a tart, I would prefer the China tart.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we were just talking about? Yeah, the China one.
Yeah, you're talking about the egg custard one. Yeah. Yeah, it just, the description of your baby food is good, where they were like, you know what? Babies need, I don't know if this is true anymore. Baby needs avocado and a baby needs coconut. Let's just mix them together with some other stuff, and they're going to get everything they need in one bite. They're a baby, right? Yeah. They don't care what it tastes like. So you do that. But overall, I think this dessert had a complete identity crisis. It had no idea what it was supposed to be. Yeah. So there was no predominant flavor. It all just came into one big bland grossness of textures that nobody would want to eat. So that's my description. If they want to write it underneath on the festival passport moving forward. We did, though, get the chai tea mint fizz. This is Twinings chai tea with Sprite and mint, non-alcoholic, $4.75. It's Twinings chai tea with Sprite and mint, and it's refreshing. Yes, I love the tea and mint one that normally has gin over there in Spice Road Table walk-up bar. Mm-hmm. You can ask for that beverage without the gin that I've done recently, and I really like it. It's refreshing. I would get this again. Yes. Or if this was like a regular, which I know it kind of is in there, if this was just a walk-up regular little booth there that was serving these, I'd get it a lot of times that we went to EPCOT. Yeah. So I really do enjoy it. Let's go to Vibrante and Vivito. This is the Encanto booth, which I don't think they really play up anymore much. They did the first year or two, I feel like. This has a spicy Hako soup with chili spiced chicken, potatoes, avocado, corn, creme fraiche, $6.
Had
it's
it before.
A great bowl of soup.
Fantastic.
Especially on the cool evenings that we're having right now.
Yes.
We didn't get it, obviously, and that's another reason I hate this festival being so short, because things like this I want to get.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll have the time because it's so short. They also have a passion fruit-filled mango cheesecake with a coconut pineapple cake, dragon fruit geely that does not look like something at the bottom of the urinal, and dragon fruit strawberry sauce for $5.25.
This was fantastic.
It's good.
Very
we loved
good.
this in the past.
Absolutely.
And I love probably my favorite Festival of the Arts dish
Yep.
out of all the years, and still is, the chorizo and potato empanada with turmeric aioli and annatto aioli at $6.75. It was hot. It was fresh. It is filled with delicious chorizo and potatoes. The empanada crust is perfect. There was a heavy amount of the aiolis on it, and I wasn't mad about it.
Yep.
They have this great flavor that everything about this works, and I love it. I probably won't get to eat half a dozen of them because I only ate one this weekend, but maybe I can catch up the next 2 times because it's my favorite. It's my favorite Festival of the Arts dish, and I think it still is. All right, a few more things to go through. We did not get it. It's new. We will pick it up next time. We just didn't really get through Connections. Eatery is, and we've had it before. They're just slightly changing flavors in what is on it. It's the Liege waffle with an ube filling. This has figment on it, $5.79. It's great because it's prepackaged, but it's over there in Connections where the Starbucks is, which is pretty much always a madhouse. So we didn't pick it up. They do have there a Imagination lemonade. Now, we have had this in the past with vodka.
Yes.
And it's good.
Yep.
So I'd assume it's good without vodka if you want it that way, and we can try it that way now. It's Minute Maid Premium Lemonade. It's topped with the Butterfly PT that we love in lavender. So it'll be interesting to try it and see if this becomes kind of our favorite, since, we're not drinking the real Butterfly P one over in China.
Right.
So we'll see. What about the funnel cake? What do they have in the American Adventure they switch up every year, Rhonda?
Well, they have a cotton candy funnel cake topped with powdered sugar, vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, pink and purple sugar dusting, and cotton candy crunch for $12. This thing was absolutely delicious. We loved it. I would like to get this again, but this is actually not my favorite one yet.
I think it's the best funnel cake they've done.
Yes, I do.
No, we haven't had all of them.
Correct.
But we've had several, let's just say. It was so perfect.
It was.
Funnel cake, good. Ice cream, good. Whipped cream, good. Little sprinkles of cotton candy, whatever, good. Just the powder. I loved it. And it's another one like when you go back to that beef Wellington croissant thing.
Yeah.
Individually, each item is good. When you get that perfect bite, it blows your mind. And that's how this was.
Yeah.
I got one bite. It was still, the funnel cake was still warm. The ice cream was still nice and cold and a little bit firm. It had the sprinkles. It had the whipped cream. And it was just this is what perfection tastes like.
Yeah. It was really good.
I might get another one of these before this thing is over, right?
Would love to share one.
This could be we'll go here for Valentine's dessert when we're there, maybe.
Okay.
You get what's coming up. I'm going to get this. They do have some specialty Joffrey's coffee and tea, of course. We did not get any of the beverages, any of their specialty coffees. We'll see, maybe, if we get there early Thursday morning or something, we might do it.
Maybe.
At the Refreshment Outpost, they have the Artist Palette Jumbo Chocolate Chip Cookie, $5.75. They've had this in the past. It's a giant chocolate chip cookie. They just stab a hole in the middle to make it where your thumb would go on an Artist Palette, and then they put 3 little squirts of colored icing on it. And it's fine. Kids love it.
Yes.
It is, get this for a kid.
Yeah.
It'll keep them quiet for a while. Yeah, and it comes with a paintbrush to try out there as well. Now, what they do have, because they always do at the refreshment port there, they do the poutines, right? They have a traditional poutine that is there all the time. It's good, thick cut fries. It's got your gravy, your cheese curds. It's pretty good. A lot of times they try and get all inventive with these poutines, which are really just loaded fries, and a lot of them don't work. You remember that shrimp scampi one was just disgusting. So they decided to do a Capri poutine, or caprese, however you say it.
Correct.
With Tuscan spiced French fries, confit tomatoes, slivered garlic, mozzarella pearls, basil pesto, shaved pecorino, and a balsamic glaze for $8.50. This is still loaded fries.
Yes, but it's a very good loaded fries.
They got it right.
Yeah.
I loved this.
Yeah,
this is one we did
great.
Saturday before we met up with everyone.
Yep.
Fries were really good.
Yes,
they
it was.
hold up pretty much till the end without getting crazy soggy. Even when they get a little soggy, they still kind of hold their position, you know what I mean? So they're still good with it. those little tiny balls of mozzarella. We buy those, the snacking ones from Costco all the time. Like the balsamic, the confit tomatoes were perfect. You just went in your fork, they bust open, they give you a nice fresh tomato flavor. The pesto, it's probably the same pesto they're using over at Italy maybe, but they've done something with it by putting it with all these other flavors. If this stayed year round, I'd get it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So good job. Keep this one up, right? All right, we're going to end with Swirled Showcase. Mm-hmm. A Rhonda favorite because she loves the soft serve.
Yes.
I have been known to eat ice cream sometimes now. Why don't you tell them about what we have? I mean, we can go over real quick. They have 3 Dole Whip, right?
Things. Mm-hmm. They have candy trio flight Dole Whip, which is a strawberry Dole Whip with Starburst mini fruit chews, a lemon Dole Whip with Skittles freeze-dried candy, and then a lime Dole Whip with chili lime seasoning and Lifesaver gummies for $8. They also have a liquid nitrogen mini cake pop with berry sponge cake. This is white chocolate ganache and colorful chocolate splats for $4.75. And then they have an imagination cone, which is bubble gum soft serve in a lavender cone, sparks of imagination with white chocolate wings. And the sparks of the imagination is basically nerds.
Yeah.
Sprinkled
it's
on
nerds
top.
Candy. They just aren't allowed to call them that, I'm sure.
Probably.
Yep.
So we got the imagination cone and the liquid nitrogen mini cake pop. We'll talk about the cake pop first. I like the cake pop much better than the Mickey cake pop.
Yeah, that one it was so rich and overly chocolately for us, but it was good. It was just too much for us.
It was too much.
It was a one biter.
This one I ate multiple of. The cake inside was looser.
Yeah.
But it still was really good, and I think it did work because the nitrogen on the outside was crunchier of the icing and the stuff.
Yeah.
And the cake on the inside was softer. I liked it. I thought it was very good. I would get it again, but if I'm going there, I'm only going to get the one thing. And
What's
that's
that?
The imagination cone.
Why?
It was my favorite.
It was
The
so good.
bubble gum soft serve ice cream, the lavender cone, the sparks of imagination. It was just phenomenal.
Everything worked together.
Oh my God.
That bubble gum just took me back to being a kid and eating either the little stick of gum that came in your baseball card packs or Big League Chew. Like, it is the most bubble gum flavor bubble gum. Or you said what?
Remember when you were a kid and the ice cream truck would come around?
Yes,
was
that's
it called a screwball? Where
yeah, but I think
it was
those
this
were those ice
cone.
cream though, or was that more? Maybe it was ice cream in that, but I know
it was bubblegum ice cream and then bubblegum ball at the end.
at the bottom of the cone.
And y'all know what I'm talking about. And it is so good. And this imagination cone, talk about imagination, takes you back to a child. And it is incredible. I absolutely loved it. I wanted to get another one. The line was so long. But I will get another one. I was going to get one with Steph. We passed by, but I will get another one before this is over, and probably 2.
Maybe.
And I will get my own just to eat
100%.
the whole thing.
Now you can also get just bubblegum soft serve in a regular cone.
Yes, you can.
It's 25 cents less. That's it. So spend the extra 25 cents and get all the other stuff. Get your wings and your nerds and your lavender cone and just, it really is. Like, it is one of those things. You take a bite, you taste that ice cream, and it just transports you to being a kid again.
Did you like the liquid nitrogen mini?
I love the flavors. It was hard to eat. I didn't.
It is.
Yeah.
It is not something you can
You can't eat it as a pop.
Correct.
Thingy, like
It'll
with the
break
stick.
apart and fall
we
on
had
the
to
ground.
put it on a napkin and basically just break off pieces with our hands. So it doesn't. It's not walkable. It's not the way you'd want to eat it.
Right.
But yeah, I liked the flavors. The cake inside was just. It was almost like it had. Part of it had like evaporated. You know what I mean? Like it was. I don't know. But I like the flavors. Very, very much so. I wouldn't get it again, not because it isn't good. It's kind of hard to eat, and you've got this imagination cone, which was I don't know, man. Maybe that is my favorite dessert then.
Over the figment or not? I keep wanting to call it the figment funnel cake, but it's
Over
the
cotton candy one?
funnel cake.
Maybe. I don't know. God, it was good.
It was so good.
Yeah. I would say when we go back, if you say I'm going to get the imagination cone, I would probably say, okay, get your own. I just want a couple little bites because I'm going to go get the cotton candy funnel cake, and then you have a couple bites.
Oh, okay.
But majority,
That's fair.
you know what I mean? So that way we at least get to taste the other one, but we don't need a whole one. So that'll be the plan.
Okay.
And if you are ready to make plans, you want to hear all about our trips coming up, which will include a couple more trips back to here, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button and get the brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And if you are ready for that next trip, of course, no matter where you want to go, our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today. And of course, as long as you're out there, we'd be very, very thankful if you could leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.